Welcome to Talking with Patrick, talking about everything and anything in Ireland with a harder edge. In this episode, I talk to Richie Crosdale, an ex-MMA fighter, jiu-jitsu wizard, and now blues musician. We go into depth about his MMA career, his talent for jiu-jitsu, his life as a doorman, and his blues music, featuring a controversial song about Bertie Ahern. So, today I'm here with blues musician, martial artist, man of the doors about town, Richie Crosdale. Richie, how are we doing?
Great to be here, yeah. I like that description. Some good titles you gave me there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the blues musician, but
no, sure.
I chance my arm.
You're in a suit, you have a guitar, so
yeah.
You're
getting good use out of this birthday suit, haven't I?
Yeah, you are actually.
Considering that is what this time last year I bought it, and a couple of photo shoots at you.
Yeah.
Music video.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
Yeah. And you fit into it, so you're doing something right.
Well,
still.
just about, yeah.
You're looking sharp. I
Thank
feel
you, man.
a little bit.
You look great as well, man.
I feel a little bit underdressed now. I'm not gonna.
Fantastic. It's hard to compete with the Bertieism, you know what I mean? But
people are probably thinking like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Yeah.
They're going to find out in a second now.
Yeah.
So, Richie, how did you get into blues? Was it something you kind of grew up listening to, or was it later?
Yeah, well, I'm just a big fan of music in general, to be honest. So I suppose my story with music, like, I feel like awkward, like you even saying, "Oh, blues musician," because I don't in any way feel like I've never been a band, never played sort of live music or whatever. But I think of myself more as just kind of like a hobbyist who's kind of, just giving it a shot kind of thing. Just I went to record a studio for the first time last summer, just trying to kind of record a few songs, put them out on Spotify, but. I do intend on like starting a band and stuff like that, but yeah, I just kind of messed around with it. But I don't know if I feel comfortable to call myself a blues musician. Yeah, but I suppose the type of music that I'm recording is kind of like some acoustic stuff there, but it's some of it will be blues kind of. But if you're saying how did I get started with it, so I guess my story is that I was kind of when I was a kid, probably when I was about 10, I started playing the guitar. It's funny because I remember at the time I was really into sort of like, like all kids, like Nirvana, Metallica, whatever.
Yeah.
And there was actually, my dad plays, like he's a good like piano player, like keyboardist. So he could play all that like boogie woogie kind of blues stuff. So probably would have heard a bit of that when I was growing up. But because I was like listening to so much music, I was like, "Oh, Dad, will you get me a guitar or whatever?" He actually had a banjo lying around the house. So he basically like gave me the banjo, and he kind of showed me like some sort of kind of rendition of like just like a really basic sort of blues thing. And I was doing that for like a week. And one day he just came into the kitchen and was like, "I'm gonna buy a guitar." And the next day he bought me a guitar. So kind of when I was like, probably till I was about 20, I would have played regularly. Got into martial arts when I was 16. So at that stage, I kind of stopped playing a little bit. But all through my 20s, didn't play the guitar at all. And then it was kind of just like after COVID, during COVID, like everyone was locked up or whatever. And I remember just thinking, I'll get the guitar out. And that was literally like my first time playing it in 10 years or so. Like my brother's in a band, as you know, and there would have been times where
Who's that guy?
I know. Don't mention him. But there would have been times throughout like all my 20s where I would have went to see him, and it had been so long since I picked up guitar, and I'd be looking at him and thinking, I don't actually know how to play guitar anymore. Like how do you do that? And so when I picked it back up, sort of like during COVID lockdowns, I was kind of like, I can actually sort of play a bit. Now, I was kind of had good rhythm, a few chords. I could play like the pentatonic scale, which is like a very basic sort of thing. But even when I was a kid, I remember like I could always kind of like solo over like songs just using that pentatonic scale. But I really like, and even now, I don't like have a fucking clue about sort of like music theory. Like I'm not like really an established guitar player. I think I'm kind of naturally pretty decent. But then Mick Pyro, like from Public Loose, he'd put up on Facebook that he was doing guitar lessons for like 30 quid or something like that on Facebook. I was friends with him on Facebook, and I met him like once or twice, like around town kind of thing, like a few times, like, just as sort of a fan. But so I started getting guitar lessons with him, and then it just kind of turned into something else where I started getting better. And I was kind of like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind just going into a studio and trying to record a few songs. But I'd done it like completely the opposite way. What you're supposed to do is like, get a bit of experience playing with other musicians, start a band, whatever. And then like if you get good, you go in a recording studio. So I went into a recording studio like straight away.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what I was doing, sort of thing. But I'm gonna try to start a band now at the moment, so we'll see where it leads. But
cool. A blues band?
Yeah. I put up an ad like about a week ago on some like start a band thing, and some guy got onto me. He's actually in like a Paul Weller tribute band, like he's in a pretty like established. So I was like, why the fuck does he want to play with me? But he met me up in Baggot Street one night, just like last week, and I think he must have went, like I didn't like send him my song or like that, but he went on and listened to like my latest kind of song, that Crosdale's Major Blues, and when I met him and all, he was like, the only reason why I'm meeting you now, he's like, oh, just pure talent. He's like, you more talent than your little finger and all. And I was like, oh, I was like, this is so embarrassing for me, kind of. And I was like, really? I was like, I never even played like music and all. And he was like, oh, that's okay. Like, but we're talking about getting a band started anyway. And we came up with like a little playlist of sort of songs we might do. And I think just probably getting a drummer really tricky part. So any drummers out there?
Any drummers out there?
Give us a shout, yeah.
Who are listening to this. I want to join Crosdale's Blues Band. I don't know what you're going to call it, but
yeah. Would be a good name. Any
good name, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Crosdale Blues Band. Mick Pyro's a great musician. I think I seen him play with Dublin Blues Cartel.
Yeah.
And really good, phenomenal guitarist. Now, I don't know anything about guitar, but it just sounds amazing. So,
he's phenomenal, yeah.
So you probably that was probably great for you to learn guitar from someone like Mick Pyro, like such a great musician.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was just a big fan of his. So a big part of it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy, to me, who should be like a superstar, is, just doing like guitar lessons out of his gaff for 30 quid. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to jump all over that. And for me, it was more just like I was thinking that'd be cool just to like even like meet him or whatever, you know what I mean? And, see get his opinions on like the guitar music and stuff like that. And so I went over, and like the first thing he was like, oh, do you know the major scale? And I was like, what's the major scale? I just thought like the pentatonic scale was everything. And he's like, oh, you got to learn the major scale. Like, and so he was kind of showing me stuff like that. But I only got like a couple of lessons off him, really. But I'd say you probably learn a lot from like going to his gigs. And I just listen to a lot of blues music. Like, I think I have a good ear. So then I kind of started figuring out like, oh, well, there's different scales, and and there's sort of how to play like a little bit. So I'm very much still like learning, but I do think I have kind of naturally like kind of good hands or something like that, good fingers. I can play fast stuff like that, like with the limited stuff that I kind of know. So, but
you kind of did it a little bit in reverse in a good way. Isn't it kind of like you kind of just maybe played off a lot of feeling and stuff, and then you learned all the basics and
well, I think I kind of same with like the jiu-jitsu as well. Like one of my friends, he's like brilliant at breaking stuff down, and when we train together, he's like, oh, what are you doing and all, and I kind of like, and like he might like try to teach me something, and I'll just like kind of get it straight away, like better than him, and he'll like start laughing. I'd be like, hey, how do you do that? And I'd be kind of like, I just do it sort of thing. So I think I kind of like unconsciously kind of competent at like some of these things, like probably similar with like, I do kind of feel like I have a knack for just like kind of being kind of, it sounds arrogant, but like good at kind of stuff, and yeah, it's sort of with him, it's just like he would say that he's like, you don't really know what you're doing, but it's good.
Well, that's a nice kind of backhanded compliment then anyway.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. But I would have loved to, like growing up, I would have loved to have, like Jeff and all, like your year, you were in the same year as Jeff, my brother. There was loads of musicians in your year. You were all kind of like loads of rockers and, people playing at music fests and stuff like that. Like,
was there? I thought Jeff was the only one.
I know,
there probably is. Yeah, there probably is.
Like all like, I don't know, Sweeney and Ross, Dave Crow and all
that. That is
guys.
right. Actually. Yeah.
There was loads of that. Like, whereas like in my year, no one. There's not even like anyone that plays guitar. And like out my friends, like any of them that try to play guitar, just shy. Like, so I was like, I don't have like, it was very hard. It'd be easy to be in a band now. You just put up an ad on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, oh, just playing guitar in my room kind of thing. I guess it's sort of the same thing, but it'd be nice to play in a band, but I guess that's a whole different art, I suppose.
Yeah. And so that's pretty cool that you went from getting guitar lessons off Mick Pyro to then Mick Pyro featuring on one of your songs.
Yeah.
Now, the song we're going to talk about, Lament for Bertie Ahern.
Right.
So, what's the song about? And how did you what was the creative process of coming up for it? Because when you told me about it, when I heard the title,
Red Flags,
I was like, what is this? I was like, this actually has piqued my curiosity now. What is this? So it's a controversial song, but it's a really good song. I love the lyrics in it. So do you want to break it down for us?
Well, you've done a great job with the epic music video that's on YouTube that people can check.
Yeah, I did do the video. Yeah. I must have forgot that.
It was sort of just like, well, for me, the song is just, satirical. It's just funny, it was last summer that I went, well, not this year, 2024, that I went and recorded studio for the first time. And I'd always kind of had like sort of songs that I would have like recorded at home, not recorded, but, created at home, I suppose. Just kind of acoustic songs that I thought were kind of okay. And now I realize they're terrible. I knew nothing about like record music. So I thought like, I have 10 acoustic songs. I just like book a recording studio one day and I'll just go in and record all my 10 songs. And I was like, that's not fucking how it works at all. And even like the songs that so I went in there a few times and like it's very expensive. Then you have to get stuff mixed and mastered and I couldn't really like afford a lot of the stuff. And you make a mistake or something like that, it's not like you just go back the next day so I was trying to put down a couple of like acoustic songs and I just thought they all sounded like terrible because like I'm not like the best singer in the world. So if you're just putting down like acoustic tracks with no band behind you, it can sound a bit thin if it's just like your voice and just like your finger picking kind of thing or something like. And so I was kind of thinking like, I'd love to have something like full band. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of sound that I like. That'll make it just sound kind of like proper music, I suppose, And there was a night, I guess, where I think me and Mick were drinking because we only became good friends as well, like at the time. And I was saying about his band, the Blues Cartel. I was like, how come you don't get in the studio? Like, these are so good and all. And I said to him, look, I'm trying to, record a few songs and, why don't you come in and do a blues song kind of with me sort of thing. Like, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. And because I just wanted something that had a bit of kind of pop to it, whatever, And so I think it was the next day I was hungover. I was going to go to a concert that night. And I just kind of came up with like this blues sort of thing. And then all of a sudden I just went, when are we going to learn? We got to bring back Bertie Ahern. I just came out and I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, and so for me, I just thought it was funny. And I said to a few people, and other people found it was funny as well. And so then like it kind of transpired to something else where like I asked Mick's drummer, Smiley, I asked him if he'd come in the studio, put down a drum track. Now, I got to be honest, I don't know if I ever told you this before, I don't really kind of like the song because now that I've got a bit more experience and I've actually put down like one or two songs that I don't really like any of the songs, to be honest. But there's one or two that I'm kind of like, all right, well, because it's a work in progress for me. And I'm like, there's one or two now that I kind of actually like. But as I said, like I didn't really know what I was doing kind of at the time. So, and I'd never played with a band, never played with a drummer. So when your man Smiley, Mick's drummer, came in, just so he could put down the drums, I had to like obviously play along. So I just kind of, it's kind of like a rip-off of Stevie Ray Vaughan has this song called Cold Shot. It's kind of like a rip-off of that, just so he could like get the rhythm down, because normally how like guitar works in a blues song is, there's a rhythm section, so like the bass will be kind of playing the groove and then you sort of solo over it. So I'm not going to like solo and then this guy play licks and then this guy drums over it. So I kind of just played that rhythm just so he could get it down, and he got it down great. And of course the guy was saying to me, he's like, Jesus, he goes, oh, you really gelled well with him, like you just done it straight away. And I was like, well, I've never played in a band before. He's like, have you not? And I was like, no. But he's like, Jesus, you guys had like a bit of kind of
energy.
Yeah, chemistry sort of thing. Like, and so we put down the drum track. And then there was a night where fucking me and Mick I had a couple of drinks and he wanted to keep the party going, I suppose, and he came back to my gaff, and it just happened that I was in the recording studio the next day. I said to him, I was like, oh, do you want to come in the recording studio tomorrow, like, because he stayed over my gaff, and he was like, oh yeah, he's like, I can go down and put down bass and whatever, lead. And I was like, geez, having McPyro on your track is pretty cool. Like, now he knew nothing about the track, which is a different story. He didn't know, like, kind of, hadn't even put down any lyrics at that point. But he came in, he put down bass, he played some lead over it. I played some lead over it as well. But the reason why I'm saying that I don't really like the song is because it was the first song I ever put out. Do you know what I mean? So, like, he done some lead over it, and straight away I was like, oh, I have to play some lead over it as well. So then you have my crappy guitar that has some licks in there, and I was kind of just trying to play fast. And then the recording studio guy actually left in that sort of like Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of rhythm thing that, like, I don't even know if I tuned the guitar around like that. I didn't use an amp. It was like a plug-in, I think. But I just done that so he could kind of, the drummer, get the rhythm. And then, like, when your man's mixing the song, I'd normally just leave him alone. And then, like, sort of played it and that thing was in it. And I was like, oh, are you leaving that in? And he was like, oh yeah, sounds good. And normally I just kind of go with them. But now experience, I probably wouldn't. But yeah, that kind of guitar thing just kind of happened. It kind of annoys you a little bit. But it's just a bit of fun, like, you know, the song. If you want to go talk about the sort of the lyrics behind it.
Yeah, that was my next question, actually, because when you
controversy.
The controversy. So when you said to me, I remember, like, I hadn't talked to you in a few years. We went out, we took some photos in pawn shop, got some really good shots, lots of washed in neon. You're in your suit,
where I was pretending to be a blues musician, like a celebrity when I wasn't.
And everybody kept coming up and saying, like, who's that guy? I bet he's famous. But I remember when you told me, I have this track coming out, I might do music video for, what's the name? Lament for Bertie Ahern. I was like, sorry, say that again. I was like, Lament for Bertie Ahern, not that he's a total asshole. And so then, so talk us through the lyrics.
It's funny you say about that photo shoot, because it just showed me, like, the power of image. It's like, at that stage, I, again, still haven't played in a band, haven't played a gig. And at that stage, hadn't even put out a song yet. So basically just wore a suit one night and I picked up the guitar and you started taking pictures of me in town, and loads of people started, like, wanting to be in the pictures, and loads of people were like, sort of thought like I was like a celebrity or something, and I was like, Jesus, like, I gotta do this more often, you know?
Yeah.
But in terms of the lyrics,
you don't particularly love him from the lyrics. You don't particularly like him. That's what I got. I was like, oh, I like this song, the satire and stuff. Or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, well, the song is completely satirical. Like, it's not exactly. It's like, and it has been very, like, sort of not misrepresented, but people kind of got the wrong idea. Like, anyone that knows me, knows my sense of humor, will go, oh, that's fucking hilarious, which most people have, like. But there's one or two people that are like, you're fucking supporting this, or you're, you know, like.
There's definitely, I think, some comments and stuff like that where people were taking it really literally, and I was like, did you not listen to the lyrics? It's a total piss take, talking about brand envelopes and other things.
Well, there's a bit of a troll in me, right? So I feel that if people are really serious and kind of up their own arse about certain things, like even in school, and obviously the teacher is real serious, something like that, I kind of just love sort of like trying to wind them up a little bit, take the piss out of them. And there's a part of me, you know, because, like, for me, Bertie Ahern is like the most sort of hated person in Irish politics. Yeah. And there was a part of me that was just like, oh, let's just fucking make a song saying how fucking great this guy is, and just to piss people off, like, and like it's just a bit of fun, you know. And I think anyone that knows me would know that. I don't know how you could listen to that song and think fucking it's serious, talking about fucking brown envelopes and bank accounts and fucking
or lack of bank accounts.
Lack of bank accounts, yeah. But and there was a part of me as well, and, like, not to really get into this, that obviously, like, it is a very divisive time and there's a lot of sort of social political issues at the moment, but I kind of just thought, like, a lot of this stuff wasn't an issue sort of when I was growing up, or it wasn't an issue 20 years ago or 15 years ago or even 10 years ago. Now, I'm not saying fucking Bertie Ahern is great or anything like that, but it was sort of just me just being like, oh, everything before was much better than it is now, and just trying to piss. And I can see why people might get pissed off about that, but
it's
good to piss people off.
It's all in good fun, and it's really like from what I understand, a rose tinted glasses view of the past, kind of Celtic Tiger, all the hustle and bustle and stuff like that, and you think, oh, okay, maybe he was a bit of a crook, but was he that bad? Yeah, he probably was. But so
yeah, but that's exactly what it is. It's like everyone hates this guy, so I'm just gonna make a song about how great he is.
You're definitely your brother's brother.
But yeah, and I think like there are some kind of things in it, like where there's no like big left-right divide or whatever. You know what I mean? Kind of a bit of social commentary sort of thing.
Yeah.
But by no means, and I could see why people might get, pissed off about something like that. But it's funny now because now there seems to be loads of Bertie Ahern songs. And it's like since no one knows me, but like there's been like about 5 songs since that. And now probably if someone was to look at it, they might think like, oh, this guy made it in response to one of these other popular songs. Like no one's watched my song, but
there's been loads. There's been like 3 or 4. And that's a lot.
Yeah, I think there's like 5 now.
Was there 5?
I think there's like 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many are pro? I don't think any.
That's the thing. I was like, I done the punk rock thing. It's easy to kind of do the trendy thing and just go, like, oh, Bertie Ahern is a fucking dickhead or whatever. And everyone goes, oh yeah, you're right. I hate this guy. But I was like, I think the punk rock thing is to like, a lot of these people think, oh, I'm anti-establishment, whatever. But I was like, to be actually now like pro-establishment is the most like,
radical
punk
thing.
rock,
or
rebellious thing. But I'm not political at all, man. I don't like.
Of course,
I just laugh at all this stuff. To be honest with you,
I think like my favorite lyrics on that song was the envelopes were brown and the noses were white. That's really Celtic Tiger. Oh, that was a really good bit of lyrics. I thought,
but
that's
like
Celtic Tiger.
not just that, like the Bertie Ahern stuff. I think because like. For me, clearly that's a joke. Anyone that has their head screwed on would know that's a joke. Like, but I do think the song people could misinterpret it a little bit, like with some of the other lyrics. Like, I don't know. We should go into this. Could edit it if needs be. But like, I kind of did have a bit of a falling out with like Mick Pyro over the song, and because he hadn't heard the lyrics, I just went in and sang it. Like, and there was a couple of things he was sort of upset with. But the sort of the line Dublin's gone to shit, like that could be misrepresented as like, I think it was by him as like, oh, this is some like kind of like far right thing or so. That's how me and Mick had the fallout that night, was that again, we need to edit this, but we were talking about, I was just like, oh yeah, do you want to be like in the music video or whatever? And I probably caught him on a bad night, whatever, but he was sort of like, he was like, oh no, you're saying Dublin's gone to shit and all that, like, and I was like, yeah. So I was like, for me it is. It was like, fucking property, you can buy a gaff, price of drink, all bars, everything's, it's not like, because I'm 34, so I remember it was like 10 years ago, and even now Dublin is awful, like compared to what it was.
there are big problems going on right now.
And so, and for me, if anything, it was like Dublin's gone to shit, like was about like sort of, because at the time last year you had that like, remember the Croatian guy was like murdered, whatever. And then like you had the American guy in town was attacked, like, and town has got very dangerous. But it wasn't like an anti-immigrant thing at all, like, which I think is the way he interpreted it. Because he's like, you're saying Dublin's gone to shit, you're fucking anti-immigrant. And I was like, what? I was like, my fucking missus is an immigrant. I was like, you're a drummer. He's like, African Irish played. And I was like, I'm not anti-immigrant at all. I was like, this is a fucking piss take song, and this is like, for me, Dublin. And he was like, Dublin's the best now than it ever was. And I was like, well, I don't think for like young people it is at all. So that's what that line is. But I do think that could be misrepresented as like, and even like my missus was like, the line, oh, Bertie's back, you bitch, and all like that. She's like, oh, like, that's nice. And I was like, I think she thought I was saying it like about like a woman kind of thing. Yeah. It was more like, oh no, you little bitch kind of thing. Yeah. Like, but anyway, that's has to be able to clear it up, because I think, like,
of course.
Yeah, I think it's a shite song, so what? Just delete it. I think I was like, this song doesn't serve me well at all. I was like, I'm just fucking deleting this.
You're kind of like thinking, why did I make this song?
The fact that you've done the music video is the only reason I haven't deleted it, because I was like, I feel bad deleting this, because like, Paddy, like, put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, like, please don't. I think many
shite song, shite lyrics got me in trouble.
Misinterpret it and get the wrong end of the stick. But yeah, the music video was quite fun. It was probably the most different type of music video, if that makes any sense, that I've done, because we went out in town. If you haven't seen the music video, check it out on Richie Crosdale's YouTube. So I think we did it really sort of Celtic Tiger style. We just went out, filmed people on the lash, and I think we had to do it. Was it like 3 times we had to go out and shoot because we had so many problems, wasn't it?
There was a guy that I had that was going to do the music video for me. I knew him through the gym, and he was saying like basically everything that I suggested. He just was like, "Oh, I'm going to do the opposite of that," and it was like, I was like, "Oh, you just bring out like camera, just see what happens. Have a night." And for me, it's just like, "Oh, we have a night out in the city centre, see what happens. Might meet a few people and get a couple of shots, you know, like whatever, like Haverty Bridge." And he was like, "Oh yeah, so we'll have you at Christchurch during the day." And I was like, "Oh well, no, I don't want to be at Christchurch, and I want to be at night." And he's like, "Oh yeah, but we'll like basically everything that I said, he like tried to contradict." And
he tried to change the song. Let's do a different song.
And then like he wanted the intro to be like a big RTE clip of Bertie and all. And I was like, no, I was like, I don't want like the fucking start of my video to be like a news segment. And then I was like, that'd probably be like copyright sort of thing as well. And so, and like then he didn't want to just like, for me, I just want to play it by ear, keep it playful, go to town, improvise sort of kind of thing. And he was like, oh no, do a storyboard and all. So eventually I was kind of like, oh fuck it. Like your man like is a very nice guy. Like I'm not talking bad about him or anything like that. But yeah, he wanted me to like be wearing fucking Bertie Ahern wigs and all. And I was like, no, let me do this fucking thing. And so then that's when I contacted yourself. And like I did feel a bit bad about sort of like not getting him. But even when I sent it to him afterwards, and like he would say to me, he's like, oh no, yeah, Paddy done like a way better job than I ever could have done. So he's like, it's way better. So
thank you for sharing.
I think oh, you did a great job, man. And let's be honest, we just went out and we had a couple of drinks and we just, like we didn't take it super serious. Like we probably did more drinking than we did like filming.
After filming, of course.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you said it to me and I was like, okay, that's interesting. And the last music video I did was a pop song, was a feel good family band type of thing. Very, very choreographed and set up. We shot it in Windmill Lane. Very great band. Lovely, great music. And so this was just totally different. It was totally like, let's just go out in town at night and see what happens. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. This is kind of guerrilla style filmmaking. And yeah, we had to do 3 separate nights because the first night was crazy. People just kept messing with us. I suppose we were asking for it though, weren't we? Like we went out, I had the camera and the rig and a little light and stuff. And then you were there in your suit. Yeah. And you had a guitar and people were just...
But I can't help feel with all these sort of pursuits, there's like a big trial and error sort of aspect to it. Like the first time I done jiu-jitsu when I was 16, I was terrible. Everyone's terrible. And then like after a year, you're better. And then 2 years, then 5 years, and 10 years, you're a black belt or whatever. And like, I think definitely the same is with the recording studio. So I was going in there, I had no experience and I was trying to like, the first thing I was recording, I was trying to make them songs and I had no idea like anything about the process, mixing, anything. And I do feel like I'm getting better at it as it's going on. And I think probably the same, like I know you've done a music video, but like we went out kind of just thinking like, oh, we'll see where this leads to. And then like, I think after that we kind of realized, okay, well this worked, this didn't work. And so then we went out a second time and it was definitely better. I don't think we used that much from the first night. Not and then much. By the time of the third one, it was kind of like icing on the cake. It was sort of like the final touches, like, oh, we kind of know where we're heading here sort of thing. So we'll just go outside Bertie Ahern's gaff and then
you're supposed to say undisclosed location.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where he lives. Well, that's what I thought was funny. Like we kind of framed it like we started.
Shame we didn't get him in the video. That's what I wanted. Yeah. And I knew nobody that would do, like when I said to the first guy about doing it, he was just like, oh fuck that. Like, and I think you were a bit, I thought with you, I was like, I could probably manipulate and persuade him into doing this a little bit. Like,
I think I said no at first.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. And then we're in the area filming outside his Fagan's his favourite, his local haunt.
Yeah.
And we went.
It was lashing rain.
It was lashing rain. And you can see it in the video there. We have the plastic cups. The Guinness actually stayed cold, probably because it was so cold.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was good. I like how in the video it's like, it starts off that you're this Bertie mega fan and you're like, we're going to have a couple of pints with him, have the crack with him and stuff. And then you see us going around town. And then at the end, you're kind of like,
torn on him.
hang on, maybe he is a bit of an asshole, and then we have to leg it. Those sirens, and helicopter sounds are real.
Yeah. For me, I thought it was really funny at the time. I thought the intro was real funny, but again, trial and error. If I was to do it again, I'd probably be like, all right, well, I wouldn't make the intro so big, because a lot of people are just probably like, oh, I don't want to fucking watch it. What the hell is this kind of thing? So I think you just kind of learn as you go on,
I think
sort of thing. But
started at Marion. We started Marion Square, and we made our way up to kind of O'Connell Street, Halfpenny Bridge, then Pawn Shop, Foggy Dew, and loads of other places. So we got a really good sense of Dublin nightlife. And obviously it was a bit tough on us because it's Dublin nightlife. Everybody's absolutely wasted.
Yeah.
And they were hounding us and stuff. But in the end we got it done. And I think it's a really nice video. It's funny. Yeah, it's definitely funny.
It's great fun. People don't ask any questions. Yeah. People are just like, oh, I want to be in this. I want to be in this photo shoot and all. And then they're like, what is it for? Bertie Ahern music video. I'm like, fuck off.
Sorry, say that again.
Well, yeah.
That is funny.
Well, I can't believe how just susceptible people are to a camera. That was the one thing I got from it, is if you just put a camera out, people are going to want to be involved in it, and people think that something's going on,
Camera, sharp suit, guitar, soulful voice. You got them hooked.
I know the video. I thought it was very funny, the end and all that kind of stuff. But I think most people watching it probably think oh, these guys aren't actually in front of his gaff.
They're not actually being chased by his guards.
Right, but so one of my mates at school was about me, and pranks, stuff like that, is you don't know where the limit is. You don't know when to kind of say enough is enough. And for me, I was oh, we fucking copped. It was gaff with the points. I would have gladly done that, but his gates were closed, and you were oh yeah, we have enough here. So let's move on. I think I had it as this could be, I don't know, some cheap fucking viral sort of thing, or funny or whatever. But now I'm just oh no, I wouldn't even want that. And it's more sort of just put out I think people listen to music or watch things because they like it, all this stuff will I'll try do some sensational kind of viral thing. It's a bit I don't know, a bit stupid.
It is satire.
It's not something I want to be known for either, kind
of course. But it's a good song. It's funny. It's really good satire, and you had a laugh with it. And then I suppose now you're kind of displaying kind of growth as a musician, really. That now you kind of took the piss.
I don't know how the songs that I have on Spotify are all kind of satirical, and I hate satirical music. Tenacious D, or even we talk about Mick Pyro, Public Loose. A lot of his kind of stuff is very playful and taking the piss. And I remember at the time being oh, they're so good, why doesn't he just be serious? That's when I was younger, but now I listen to it and I think, oh, that stuff is brilliant. It's so playful and loose, and you just kind of, you're not just doing the normal formula that everyone else does, some boring kind of stuff. But I think I went in trying to record a couple of acoustic songs, and I had serious lyrics and all. They all turned out not very good. And so then you find yourself in a situation where you're kind of recording a blues song on the spot, and because as a drummer or bass player behind, I played the bass, all of a sudden it sounds good. And I was oh, I'll need to make some lyrics for this. And I was if I just, do some generic kind of, blues lyrics, oh, my baby left me or something like that, I'm it's just going to be way worse than blues music that's already out there. So I thought, I put a bit of spin on it, something a bit more kind of contemporary, you've been running 5K just to get your hole kind of thing, or some, funny, I might have to edit that, some funny kind of lyrics. But then when I listen back, I'm no, because your music's actually some of the music's good, but you're sort of taking the piss, so it's hard for people to take it serious. So I think that is something that I'd like to change. But it's just happened to be that whenever I tried to do a serious song, it just turned out not good. And then when I done sort of the joking around stuff, the music was kind of better. And I'm now I have a lot of songs on Spotify that are just jokey songs, and so I'll have to work on that. But
it's just it's your style, it's what you're comfortable with, and it sounds good. So So we're talking about out filming the music video nightlife. You used to be a doorman, right?
Yeah, used to be, yeah.
How many years were you doing that for?
I think I done it for 5 years. I see when I was training martial arts and all, a lot of those guys would have done the doors. And it was kind of my first proper job that I had. I'd gone to college and all that, but I never really done anything with it. I went to UCD, and then a couple of lads worked in Pygmalion, and I remember I got the PSA license, so probably worked there for 4 or 5 years, and then I done a year in pawn shop. I was Berlin at the time, like, but yeah, that was interesting. I stopped in that in 2018. So yeah,
Was it a bit crazy at times?
I think it was a lot better. I think Dublin was a lot better, and I find that like I'm sort of at an interesting age, and same with yourself. Like, what was your? Are you 39?
Yes.
30s.
Just gone to 30s. Yeah.
David Brent. Well, yeah, so I'm 34, but definitely like the last couple of, like, just say after COVID, whatever, I would have been like 31 or whatever. So like I felt like I was still sort of young enough to kind of go out in clubs in Dublin or whatever, go to Ibiza or something, which I did. But I could still remember what it was like 10 years beforehand. And so for me, Dublin has changed a lot. Like, there's not really much crack going on. Like, places are dead during the week. And like when I worked in the door, like we'd have like a full team of security like during the week and all, because you'd have all the students. Or then like Monday might be the night where like all the bar staff go out, you know, because they're busy on the weekend. So yeah, it was really, really busy. Like, and
any wild stories?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah,
Give us one.
I think I don't know if I want to go into like, you know, physical stuff, I suppose. But like there were a couple of times where I had to use sort of my training and that. There was one night where like, oh geez, I absolutely like, it's the first time in my life I felt like really bad fear kind of, I guess, was there was an incident at the front door with like the two guys were on the front doors on the side door, and I remember I kind of ran up the lane, I could see something was going on, and straight away a bottle just went like straight by my head, and I was like, what the fuck? I got up and there's all these like young fellas and they were just fucking milling bottles at us. Like, that was pretty, I remember afterwards. It's something that like, when I used to do the door, because I'm kind of a quiet guy, do you know what I mean? Like, and when I started a job, I was like, I want to be, you know, a doorman who's not a fucking bully or an asshole, because like there's a few of them around, sort of thing. But I quickly learned like, oh, like the job, you know, can make you sort of a bit like cynical, and you have to be tough because people will take advantage. And I also noticed that like, because I was trying to be sort of probably a bit too nice at the start, and I noticed that like if you're actually nice to people, that can sort of trigger a lot of people. Like, there's people that if you're rude to them, or you know, you don't want that either, like, oh yeah, see you later mate or whatever, you know, there's doormen like that, and then all of a sudden like they trigger people or they provoke a situation. But I noticed that if you're too nice as well, I don't know, it's like a predatory thing with people as well, they can kind of get a bit like
too familiar.
Maybe. No, like they can kind of like think maybe like, oh, this guy's a bit weak or something like that. And so and then like you have so many people, like, because at the start you give them the benefit of the doubt, like, I don't know, girls come up and they're like, oh, I swear my friend is just in there, I lost my ticket for my jacket or something, and you're like, oh yeah, no problem. But then after a while I kind of like, no, like people will like try and manipulate you and lie to you and do anything just to, and there's people that are very good at it, like, you know, like we guys who are like in there robbing phones and stuff like that, and you see the guy in the camera and you catch him and you'd be like, oh no, here's some like D4 guy. You're like, this is like obviously the wrong person. And like you let him go. And then like, you're like, wait, no, this is like some guy. And he's like, I swear, like you have the wrong guy, please let me go and all. And then we're like, no, like there's fucking, that's what I got from it. It's just there's insane sort of people out there, you know?
Yeah.
But there was a couple of times like where I had to sort of use my training, but it'd always be like, you like use this sort of like, grappling, just restrain people sort of thing. Like, there was one night where like we had like a pretty bad situation where this guy like basically kept like attacking us, and one of the other doormen like kind of didn't really have kind of good training, but he's a big unit of a guy, like kind of like choked this guy out like probably like 3 times, because he just, every time we woke up he just kept attacking us. And your man is like, this guy is like the biggest fucking doorman you've ever seen. I think he's the biggest like doorman in the country. He's like the mountain of Game of Thrones. And at one stage we had this guy, and I was like kneeling on him, like kind of knee on belly, and the other guy was kneeling on him. And he actually stood up. I was like, how the fuck he stood up? Like, I didn't think he was mad out on drugs, like kind of thing. And so like the strength of someone who's like, you know, and the aggression in someone who's like
determined to cause damage.
Yeah, who could be intoxicated, I don't know, like probably like out of his tree on coke or something. But it it was one, I don't know, it was something, it was like a bank holiday or something like that. And we'd call the guards, and like the guards didn't arrive till like 4:30 in the morning. So we're literally like had to keep, just every time this guy woke up, he'd attack us. And we just kept putting him down, kept putting restraining him. And then like, I remember last time, like I kind of had to put him in, you know, a choke or whatever. And when he was like completely unconscious afterwards. And because I was like, this guy just like fucking keeps going on us. And so afterwards I was like, no, it might be better for me to just hold him in the mount. Because if two people are trying to control someone, you're not really controlling them properly, sort of thing. So I was like, I know that I can control people from jiu-jitsu. So I just like was like in the mount position on top of him. And when he woke up, I was like, mate, I was like, you've been choked out like 3 or 4 times. So I'm actually like, that's not good. Like, you know, like, and I was like, I'm actually worried about you. I was like, please, will you stop attacking us? Like, you know, and there's nothing we could do. And eventually like the guards turned up at 4:30 in the morning. They like took out the pepper spray and everything, like, and I was like, this guy's just so like, and they asked us, oh, do you want to press charge or like that? We were like, oh no, he just wants to like come back, apologize, he never comes back again, or wants to apologize, grand. But then he was actually in the paper over it. So I assume he just was like attacking the guards and stuff, because it's like, we didn't say we wanted to bring any charges against him. So you have situations like that, but thankfully they were quite rare, to be honest with you. And for the most part, I just really enjoyed it. It's like, you're kind of just hanging out with your friends all the time. You have each other's backs, and it's kind of like you're just going to a club, getting paid to be in a club.
Getting paid to be in a club.
And so I really enjoyed it. But I noticed towards the end, it did start to get a bit more, I started to feel more unsafe doing it. And I was kind of like, oh no, I don't want to be doing this and doing nights anymore. And I'd say now it's probably worse than ever to do it. Like, so I don't even have a license anymore. So
those days are behind you.
Yeah, I think
the
so.
The mean streets.
Yeah.
the mean nighttime streets of Dublin.
Yeah.
So it's interesting there, like how kind of restrained you were despite all the training you have. And I kind of suppose like you kind of have to be that way. But so do you think like your martial arts training and stuff like that gave you some discipline, and even with your mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because it gives you sort of like, like, you know what you're sort of capable of. So I'm like, okay, I know that, like, more than likely this guy doesn't have any training, that, you know, if I get him on the ground, like, he's not going to be able to escape, pretty much. I don't have to like punch him in the face or hurt him or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of like a superpower, like, really, like, if you have a bit of training. Even someone that might have like a year training, they'd have such an advantage over like just like the average Joe walking the street, like, especially if that person's like drunk or something.
So you can,
but if you have like 10 years training, or you're a black belt, like, you're used to like fighting other black belts, you're gonna like find it like pretty easy, kind of like
you can fold them like a pretzel.
Restrain. Although like, I don't know about that, like, because sometimes like you would just see guys like on you know, in the club or something like that, like just some guy who like freak genetics, like massive legs, massive shoulders, and I just be like, oh, I know from my training that like it'd be fucking, this guy be a nightmare to hold down. You know what I mean? Like,
I was going to say, twist like a pretzel, fold like a deck chair. I said it wrong.
Well, yeah, so, like a big, strong, heavy guy is like, you know, a big, strong, heavy guy. But and like, we're in a team of guys, so it's a bit easier. But yeah, like I like, if you were to hit someone or strike someone, like I guess you could do that if you're not working on the door. But like, when you're working, like, I mean, you get into pretty bad trouble for that, I suppose, wouldn't you? So
you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I got my black belt in 2019. So I didn't really feel like, same with the blues thing, I felt like complete imposter, because I kind of stopped taking it serious a few years before that. Like, I was still kind of going to the gym, but I was basically just going to the gym. I was bench pressing, and I was jumping in for a few rounds. I trained really like seriously kind of up till I was about 24, because I was like fighting MMA, and then like I stopped doing that. Then I was kind of just hanging around the gym. So when I got my black belt in 2019, I didn't really feel like a black belt. So then, like, kind of like after that, I was like, okay, I don't want to be one of these fake black belts. So I kind of put in a bit of effort after that to like start trying to train again. And like, the jiu-jitsu had changed a lot. Like, it was like a lot of leg locks and all this kind of, it had gotten like very systematic. So I did put a bit of effort into sort of learning that. And I trying to like train again. And when I was black belt, like, I did compete. I done quite well, like, just like in Ireland, like I won a couple of tournaments, stuff like that. And then I went to like the Europeans couple of years ago, and I got like absolutely destroyed. So it was like there's so many levels to everything. I was like, I can beat people in Ireland and win tournaments over here, and then go over to a tournament like that, and you're like submitted in like a minute. I was like, fucking hell, like.
Wow.
But I kind of, since I kind of like, I guess probably around since I got lessons off Mick, I kind of completely stopped training. Like the last 2 or 3 years, I've done like fucking no training.
Guitar lessons, not jiu-jitsu lessons.
Yeah, so I get a bit obsessive when I get into something. So I was just like, at this stage in my life, 34, do I need like, I was like, there's enough problems in your life. I was like, do I need to be like thinking, like jiu-jitsu is problem solving. I was like, do I need to be going to the gym and just have these guys like, who, you know, aren't working, who are, you know what I mean? They're just like me when I was younger, like you're in college or something or whatever. They're just training like all day, every day, twice a day. I was like, do I need these guys who are like, you know, young, you know, up and comers, like trying to like strangle you every night? And the jiu-jitsu is a sport of someone trying to like, you know, essentially damage your body, you know, like break your body. And I was like, I've like so many injuries and all. And I was like, I don't really know this is serving me like that well, you know, coming up and going to work the next day injured and all. Now, about 2 weeks ago, actually, I did go to the gym first time in years. I've done a bit of kickboxing and pad session, but I was like, I would like to get into it and get fit again. But I was like, I would like that to be my training from now on. It's like I'd rather pay someone and just like, we just do what I want to do. You don't have to worry about injuries or anything like that. And just to kind of stay fit kind of thing. I think I'd like to compete like one more time, like, you know, in something. But
it's interesting that you said when you're in the gym, it's kind of like when you're about to roll with someone, it's like a battle and you're like, how's this going to go? Am I going to get injured? And maybe, as you said, like they're a bit younger, more time in their hands, and they're probably like the way you were, super, super laser focused to just get in there and win the round or whatever.
Well, see, when I was younger, I never worried about getting injured. I never got injured. Now that I'm older, it's like I'm worried. That's all I'm thinking about when I'm rolling, and you just get injured all the time. But so many weird stuff has like happened. Like even like I get really like, I've no tolerance for it anymore. Like if people just are stupid or reckless with your body, because I'd always be really safe with people. Like I don't think I've ever really injured anyone when I was rolling with them. And when I'm rolling, I'm always conscious of our area and other people around. And if we're going close to like there's some silly things in the gym that just fucking annoy me as well. Like there might be like a big glass mirror or something like that, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is like super smart. And then, but I'd always like really be careful with my training partners, but sometimes you don't get that in return. There's a few times since I came back where guys literally, so I'm rolling on the ground and these young fellas get up and they're wrestling, so they're on their feet wrestling and they're super competitive and they actually fall on the back of your head. Like this happened to me, like I think it's happened 3 times. It never happened to me years ago, but it was like these young fellas are going mad. They go halfway across the mat and they'll actually like, I felt like I was like fucking knocked out, like just fell on the back of my head. And you'd be super pissed off.
Like a clash of heads.
No, like I'd be on the ground and these guys might get up and like, you're not supposed to, when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're not really, it's not wrestling, like up on your feet. And these guys might just get a bit carried away and they'll go halfway across the mat and they might like double leg the other guy like on the back of your head or something. But that's actually happened to me about 3 times. And I don't coach anymore. I used to do a bit of coaching, but I was like, if I was a coach, I'd just be like, if you stand up, if you wrestle around while there's other people on the floor, I was like, you're gone. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'd have no tolerance for that, but I'm not like kind of in control of things. But I just, there's stuff like that just like kind of is a bit infuriating. So I just don't really have that much tolerance for it. That's why I'm like, I'd rather just like meet up with one of my friends. If I go for a Mick Corcoran, sometimes we meet up and we'll just like roll or kickbox or wrestle or just, you know, problem solve. And we just have a bit of crack doing it. That or like maybe like private training or something I think would be like best for me. But maybe I've just turned into a wimp. I don't know. Maybe I was always a wimp.
No, you don't sound like a wimp.
Fair.
So like you've had a few MMA fights, you were saying?
I had 5 amateur MMA fights, yeah. I didn't have a very good record. I won. I think I should have. I won 2 and I lost 3, but I felt like it should have been 3 and 2 because one of the decisions I thought I won the decision and went against me. So I lost my very first fight, but I had no idea what I was doing. I was literally like, I just joined SBG, whatever. I was only 20 and I had no skill really. And I went in there on a show called Cage Contender against a guy who actually had fought pro and he'd come back to amateur. So was like, it's not even allowed. Like, and he was like a proper like boxer and stuff like that. So I was just like some kid who was just training. Like, never really competed, doing anything. I had real long curly hair. I just looked fucking ridiculous at the time. And I was fighting like in the basketball arena in front of loads of people. But I remember like I took the guy down the first round, and I had no grappling. Like, I wasn't able to. I remember I just tried to mount him straight away, and he just stood up. And then like I just got like tired like so quick, and like I wasn't knocked out or anything like that. Like, but I was just like the ref kind of like, so like, you're fucked. You're taking a few shots, and stepped in. And so then after that, I was like, I need to learn how to actually fight again. This whole trial and error thing is like sort of a theme that I find is, you know, in life and everything. And so then like I actually just started focusing on jiu-jitsu, and that's when and then I started going, well, I don't want to get tired again, so I'm going to start competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments and learn how to, you know, pace yourself a bit better or get fit and all. And then I started eventually like, I probably like spent about 2 years doing jiu-jitsu and competing in that. After that, I actually developed some skills, but I always wanted to fight MMA. And then it was like September 2013, because I was back training MMA, like John offered me a fight, and I remember I just won like a absolute in the tournament on this jiu-jitsu tournament on Saturday. So I won that. I think like on Sunday he was like, "Oh, do you want to fight on the weekend?" I just felt like really fit and all the time. I was like, "Oh yeah, definitely." So that was up in Derry. I had a fight and I won that. And then like it was like just a couple of weeks later, like November or something. That was the end of September, and then it was November. He was like, "Oh, well, do you want to have another fight?" And this show called Battle Zone, and that was in the Ballsbridge Hotel. And I remember I won that first round triangle, and like I felt like, oh, this is fuck deadly. Like, you know, I've had like, I went from like winning no MMA fights, and the thing when that night I lost, there was like 10 guys from SPG fighting that night, and everyone in SPG won except for me.
Oh no!
And I felt awful. Like I felt like, oh, it's just like that like fucking stuck with me for a while. But what's funny was when I won that fight in Battle Zone, like basically everyone from SPG lost that night, and I won. And like not everyone, but like it was a kind of a bad night for the gym. And I remember like our coach, like at the next day, like, "Oh yeah, it's a tough night for the gym." And I was like, "I fucking won!" Like, please, what do you mean? Like, then I had a fight in February. Sorry. And that's when I broke my hand. But that was a real close fight. I thought I won it. And so I lost the decision. And then I came back from breaking my hand, and I jumped into a jiu-jitsu tournament in Cork. Actually, I jumped into a jiu-jitsu tournament a week before that, just like a college thing. I don't know why I was in a college tournament. But like I won that. And then I jumped into this tournament in Cork. And I'd actually won my division. I think it was in the absolute. And I was winning the fight. And next thing my ACL just boom exploded. It was like the worst pain fucking felt ever. And so long story short, like they say like that like takes like a year to come back for most people. I like fought after like 9 months after ACL surgery. I was like back like training after 7 months. I just really rushed it. Like really like I was not like fit or anything like that. But I felt at the time like, oh well, I'm amateur, I need to go pro by this age. I felt like a real rush, and that's partly my one regret. Was like if I could go back, I'd be like, no, like you've loads of time, like. And so, yeah, that was the one fight. I fought this guy up north, and that was just a disaster. Like that was like the one time ever training. I think that was like fucking like KO properly. And I remember before the fight, I didn't really like. I know it's like probably sounds like excuses which all fighters have. But I remember like, because I was moving up a division, I fought at 170. I don't know how I made weight 170 ever, because I'm like over 100 kilos now. So it's like, how the fuck did I fight at 77? But I did. And so for this one coming back, I went up to 84. And so I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to make weight for this. But I was coming back from ACL and everything like that. And all of a sudden I was in a situation like the day before a fight where I was like, oh wait, I'm still a bit fucking heavy. And so I kind of had to like cut weight where I wasn't expecting it. And I had to cut weight like a really weird way. I just like started like fucking
sauna.
No, I didn't have like this is. I thought I'd make weight, and then all of a sudden I was just like in my dad's gaff. I just like got in a heavy bag and I put on like loads of like towels and stuff. I was just like was trying to make myself sweat, and I think I just like didn't do. I was basically exercising. I don't think I like did myself any favors. I remember didn't sleep that night. I really didn't feel well the next day. They up in Derry, up in Northern Ireland, for some reason they have like the fights really early. So like normally like you'd be in the evening, like, and I was like, oh shit, I'm like got here and I'm fighting at like 3 o'clock or something. So you don't have as much time to recover. And I remember there's a medic that checks you out beforehand. I remember I just felt not well, like, and for whatever reason. And the guy who was actually taking my blood pressure was like, oh, he's like, your blood pressure is like really high and all. And I was kind of like, and I don't like feel well. I just like, I had no adrenaline before the fight, like absolutely no adrenaline. And I remember just like getting tired, like even like warming up and all. And I remember just thinking like, this isn't going to go well. And I remember like getting in the cage, like loads of like little things. I always think like if you're fighting, like you need to go into the arena, same as podcast studio, check it out first, get a feel for it. Like I didn't even like go into the arena sort of, I was just backstage. And I remember like all of a sudden you walk out and you're like, where am I walking? Where am I going? I was in the cage and I remember I just felt like, and my dad said it to me afterwards. He was like, you looked like you kind of didn't know where you were. And like looking back, I was like, oh, did I have a fucking concussion or something like that? I don't know. But I remember just like feeling like nearly fucking confused or something like that. And like my kickboxing actually is kind of, it's not too bad. Like it's okay. Like I haven't really done like a lot of, you know, strike classes, but I always felt like I kind of like just naturally sort of like through the sparring, like I was actually kind of like, okay, certainly a lot better in my other fights. Like this is my last fight, but if you watch this fight, you'd be like, that guy has never Trump his life. Because I remember I'd just been like, sometimes if I changed like stance, I went to southpaw, I had this really like, I kind of had this lead kind of hook that I could catch guys with. And so like, I was like changing my stance, but I wasn't bouncing around and I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I was like really just like stuck on my feet. And like your man was like teeing off on me. And but I just did not feel very good. And so I'd like wouldn't judge my fighting abilities by my last fight at all. But I remember I just pulled guard on the guy because I was like, I can like submit anyone with my guard. And I nearly got my triangle, nearly got him like an arm lock, a few things. But then like second round, I basically got like KO'd. And I always remember thinking like, oh, if I had to submit, I was close to submitting in the first round. If I had submitted him, I wonder how that would have like kind of changed my life sort of thing. Because long story short, yeah, I'd like after that fight I was getting like bad headaches and stuff like that for months, and that's why I just said done with this, you know.
Yeah, so like you felt that, wow, this is kind of like detrimental to my health.
Yeah, I didn't feel well at all. And I remember like straight after the fight I was like, oh, I want to keep my fitness up, I want to like fight again. I was like, I don't want to lose all this training that I've been doing. And I remember I went to the gym. There's this guy from our gym, Big Ken. He's like this big unit of a guy. Me and him were really good friends, and we used to do a lot of grappling together. And he was like, oh yeah, just come in the cage, keep your fitness up, we'll just do grappling and all. And so I went to the gym with him, and he's like a 120 kilo guy, kind of throwing me around the cage and all. No striking or like that, but I remember afterwards I just had like the worst headache ever. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't like be bouncing around the mats, stuff like that. I remember one of the days I went for a run, just had like fucking worst headache ever. And it was actually one of the guys from the gym, Chris Fields. He was like, he's like, no, if you like get a back concussion, he's like, you shouldn't even get your heart rate up. And so I was kind of like, right, well, you know, knock this on its head for a while. Eventually I came back, like that was in like June, I think in like September, October, I kind of came back and I was just doing a bit of grappling. I got on a little run actually. I was doing well in jiu-jitsu tournaments. I remember I won a good one over here, and then I went to Madrid for like an IBJJF one with my girlfriend at the time. And it was when we were over there, I started getting all these weird symptoms. Like I remember in the hotel, and I said to her, I was like, do you feel, I was like, is the floor moving up and down this hotel? I was like, is this hotel a bit weird? No. She was like, no. And I was like, the fuck? And like the whole time I was there, I had this really weird sensation, like my balance was off, and that was kind of like, nearly felt this like pulsating feeling in my foot, like I was kind of going up and down or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I have to compete in a jiu-jitsu tournament now. And it's funny because I actually won the jiu-jitsu tournament. I was like, I got like a gold medal at IBJJF. Like they're like the kind of big
gold standard.
Yeah. Well, they were at the time anyway.
Yeah.
And so I remember like I won like the tournament, like which is pretty good, like because I just kind of forgot about it. I was competing. But then afterwards, I think we were just getting some food or something like that, and all of a sudden I noticed just like all this like static in my vision, and I was like, what the fuck is that like? And this kind of led me down sort of like this sort of road where for a while I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, do I have like some sort of brain injury or whatever? You know what I mean? I had all these kind of weird symptoms that were going on. And there was a neurologist from SPG, Dan Healy. I just text him, like someone gave me his number. I just text him, and he was great. He brought me in, and he kind of like checked me out, and he was like, "No, you're grand." He's like, "You're fine." He's like, "Sometimes he's like people can get sort of like these kind of neuro symptoms or whatever." He's like, "But there's absolutely nothing like pathologically like wrong with you. Like just, you don't have like, I don't know, like, you know, you didn't have like a stroke or brain cancer. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you know what I mean?" And so yeah, that kind of put me at ease, and I kind of started like slowly getting back in it. But after all that shit, I was like, yeah, I never really talked about this before. Like it's a bit heavy. Like, but after that, I was just kind of like, I was like, I don't like really want to get punched in the head.
That's wise. Yeah. Well, like I can totally understand where you're coming from. I'm not a fighter, but that's a traumatic injury to your brain. You know, and those symptoms sound quite. Yeah, they would worry anybody. They sound quite disturbing. So I can totally.
Yeah, and
understand.
It's and then like a lot of other stuff happened. Like I went to that show where Joe Carvalho, the Portuguese fighter, came over here. They had an MMA event in the National Stadium. Like he passed away. Like he died like fighting in a show over here.
I remember I seen that, and you were at that event.
I was at that, and that was another thing where I was like, sometimes you think about like, oh, maybe getting back into it. And the real like I'm not like really a jiu-jitsu guy. Like I kind of hate jiu-jitsu culture. I'm not really in. I trained jiu-jitsu for MMA. That was always what I wanted to do it for. So I guess maybe that's why I lost a little bit of interest. But that like really kind of, that was awful. And then like I know two other guys, like there's a guy, they don't train the same gym as me, but there's a guy that I competed against twice in Coghlan. During COVID he was training and got thrown his neck and he's paralysed now.
My God.
And there's another guy, Ryan Curtis, who he got the same injury. It was around the same time. And I was like, how? Like, there's never been a death in the UFC. And I was like, how in Ireland has there been like a death and two guys are paralysed? Like, you never hear about this stuff. And it's like, but this is all happening in Ireland. So this stuff, like, just like kind of, I was like, fuck. Like, that kind of creeped me out even about doing jiu-jitsu. And then thankfully, I think that Ryan guy, I don't really know him, but he seems to have made like, just like a miraculous recovery. Like since like day one, he was kind of, I got from like his Instagram, he was just kind of acting like it didn't have, like it was just like, oh yeah, you're just gonna get through this. And it's the power of that seemed to just go like a really long way, because I think I remember reading or listening saying, people saying like, oh, he'd be lucky to like stand up again and stuff like that. And now you see him and he's like running and stuff like that. It's just like an amazing recovery. Wow. So I definitely think like the mindset thing, like it's miraculous what like sort of that power of just belief, faith kind of can do. Like, but yeah, those sort of, all that kind of stuff just, it turned me away a little bit from martial arts. Like, and then I kind of feel like years ago everyone thought like, oh, UFC was like human cockfighting or whatever, MMA is human cockfighting, and there was this kind of stigma. Then that stigma kind of went away, and like, you had UFC Dublin and all, and people, everyone public loved like MMA fighters. And now like it's like turned the other way again. It's like people seem to kind of think like, oh, if you do MMA, like you're like, you hear the joke like, if you go to the gym, you're far right.
Right. Yeah.
There's kind of like a bit of that where people like think, oh, you're me. Which people that train martial arts are like the most amazing people that I've ever met. They're amazing people, like, and of course you do get like, you do get very eccentric people, like, like same with music. Like you probably get people that are great, and then you get people that like, I think a lot of people that are attracted to stuff like music, MMA, you do get like damaged people, or you get like sometimes like narcissistic people or whatever. But yeah, what are we talking about again? Brain damage.
Brain damage, yeah. Yeah, well, no, that's, I could totally understand why you would want to step away, because, you had your own experience, with the concussion, and that's very traumatic. And then you see what's happening with Joe Carvalho, Joe, and he unfortunately lost his life, and then you have the other injuries of the other two guys, really serious things. So I think that would make anyone think twice. Yeah,
well, I think like it's a weird one, because I think training in martial arts is like a really positive thing. There's a lot worse stuff you could be doing, drinking and drugs. And I've seen like time and again, people have changed their lives. Like you might get like some young fella from the flats or something like that, and it's like he's not like, going down the path that a lot of other people might go down. He's in the gym and he's a successful fighter, and he's teaching classes, he's teaching adults. like great stuff. Like I think it's great for people's development, but there's a part of me that I think like, because like to have the skill of fighting like is, I think, a great thing that anyone can give themselves. I'm like, I can't imagine what I'd be like walking down the street, but like, oh, someone could just like, you know, do whatever to me. But yeah, I've just seen it like do a lot of good for people. But I remember what I was gonna say. I think people should like get good at martial arts and then maybe stop. There's a certain point where it's like, you know, like I know guys from the gym that are like, they're like sort of, you know, approaching 40 or whatever, and they're still like trying to get like in the UFC and stuff like that. And it's like, geez, I don't know, like, do they have anything to fall back on? And like, do they want that to be their life, kind of, you know, like getting battered around and being in the gym all like I find it a bit depressing sometimes, like as I got older, like even just being in the gym. I don't know why that is. And then like the whole like I never in my life ever took steroids. I don't take steroids. And just I noticed that's another thing that really put me off, was that a lot of guys, I'm not saying a lot of guys from the gym start taking steroids, but I've seen guys that I know take steroids, and I just find that really annoying, like, because I'm like, I'm a pretty strong guy naturally, like, you know, I'm a big enough guy, and then like there's guys that I would have been able to like beat in the gym, and then all of a sudden they go on the juice and they're monsters, and you're like, fucking hell, like that's not like fair, is it? And then you sort of think, well, if I wanted to, like, I'm sure some of the guys I could beat on were like taking steroids and stuff, and that's annoying because you're like, this guy like might like hurt me really bad because he might have been on steroids, and then you're sort of like, well, if I was to ever like compete, I'm pretty, as I said, like I'm a strong enough guy naturally, so I'm like, I always think like, oh, if I took steroids, like how strong would I be? And that's kind of like annoying to think, oh, I'd like to compete with these guys, like, yeah, you'd have to probably go down that road. And for me, like steroids, like I'm just like, okay, first of all, like imagine injecting yourself in the arse with something like every week. Like, I hate needles, something like, fuck that. Like,
you wouldn't be good at steroids, yeah.
Yeah, and then like shrinks your balls. Can't afford any more ball shrinkage. You lose your hair. Can't lose any more hair. I'm just like just to be like able to train more and bigger and stronger. You can get like very strong naturally anyway. But that really put me off of seeing like guys doing steroids. That's just like pissed me off. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to really be like into this, you know?
It kind of it gives an artificial edge that's really hard to compete against, it sounds like.
I think it's just a dirty kind of thing to do, like to be like injecting yourself and all like that. And then like you have to maintain that. Like you kind of have to like keep going with it, don't you? And it's just not something that I like got into it just to like learn martial arts and, you know, to compete and all. Like I wouldn't want to fucking doing that stuff. Like, well, I think like you kind of, I don't actually really blame guys, because I think sort of you have to, because I just think everyone's doing it. Like, but I don't want to do it. Like, so
yeah,
you know.
Well, good for you for not giving in. So you can,
yeah, I think you can tell people that juice like just by looking at them. But it's weird because there's guys that I know that are doing it, and like the tone of their voice changes. Like their voice actually changes. And some of the guys might have been real lean, and all of a sudden they have like a real thick face and all. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't like.
It seems like you sacrifice a lot in terms of your health and maybe appearance. I know obviously it's it is cheating, you know, and it's giving you a very artificial edge. But it sounds like the cons really outweigh the pros.
It really like raises your like risk of like stroke and heart attack and stuff like that, from what I know as well. And I just don't think I'd like sleep well at night thinking that I'm on that like stuff, you know. But yeah, as you say, like the cons outweigh, you know, well, not for fighting, but it's like how you're in terms of your life.
Yeah,
you know. So
a very
I just hate
costly shortcut.
I just hate for people to be like, oh, that guy's a juice head or something like.
Richie, thank you so much for coming in, man. Thanks. It's been really fun talking with you.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the third episode of Talking with Patrick. Please like, share and comment. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. The theme song of Talking with Patrick is Instant Blues by the guy I was just talking to a minute ago. More episodes coming soon. Stay tuned.